For those who love the medium of video games, each title leaves an impression on us for a number of reasons. Some games stick out for their technically sound and complex gameplay. Other games stick out for their amazing narratives and their characters, while others stay with us due to the music and score that moved us as we played. However, there are some games out there that do something special. Some games are crafted in a way that all these elements work together to create an experience that is somehow greater than the sum of its parts. While there are multiple games that fit this bill for me, the game that I want to talk to all of you about today is special to me because in all my years of gaming, I have only ever experienced one other title that left me with such a sense of utter confusion, dread, and awe at what I was playing. The game I want to talk with all of you about today is Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. Now this video will not be an exhaustive and comprehensive list about the gameplay mechanics or narrative in this title. There are numerous other content creators who have spoken about these issues in a much more detailed way than I ever could. So today, I just want to talk with you all about the experience I had playing this game, because it is so unlike any other title out there. If I could only give one compliment to Nocturne as a piece of art, it is that to me is the perfect definition of what it means to create atmosphere in a video game. I first played Nocturne when I was like 14 or 15 years old, and just like most 14 or 15 year olds, I thought I was a badass. I played horror games no problem, watched horror movies, watched messed up shit on B back in the 4chan's heyday, so I clearly was ready for all life's challenges, let alone whatever some rando JRPG would try to throw at me. And then I played the game. Upon starting, the first thing that stuck out to me was the character designs. The art is beautiful, that much is certain, and every character and still image of this game is imbued with a sense of, I guess I would say sadness, it would be the word for it. I've never seen a title able to convey such a sense of melancholy and isolation in the way that Kazuma Kaneko is able to express it through his characters in Nocturne. People like to talk about how Dark Souls provides the ultimate feeling of isolation and despair one can experience in a game title, but I challenge these people to just spend a few hours with Nocturne and then come back to me. I've never felt more alone playing a game than I did playing Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. So much so that I eagerly awaited finding NPCs to have discussions with, while in other games I dreaded having asinine conversations with these awful characters. Nocturne is able to convey solitude better than nearly any other piece of art in the medium, and I've interacted with, and I think that this is because that nothing in the game feels forced and that all the elements just blend so well together. Some games try to be edgy for the sake of it, making your character curse or kill things in a gruesome way, or throw in religious imagery just because that automatically makes whatever you're talking about deep in some way, right? Well, Nocturne feels so genuine to itself. I never felt like the game was trying to deliberately terrify me or force me to feel anything for its characters by utilizing some industry standard narrative device. Nocturne just throws you into this world and lets you loose, and within this method, it becomes more daunting, overwhelming, and horrifying than any game trying to force the player to feel these emotions artificially. Nocturne is full of what can only be described as labyrinths and mazes. The puzzles can sometimes seem abstract and esoteric when you're first making your way through the game, and you will find yourself lost often, having to utilize trial and error to get through the game's puzzles. Now, of course, Nocturne is not the only game that has puzzles and mazes for the player to work through, of course. But what sets Nocturne apart from other adventure games and RPGs is the encounter rate and lethality of enemies, and how random encounters in this game can mean death if one's circumstances are unlucky enough. Now, most games force their players to fight their way through trash mobs while forcing them to give them something to do, basically, or even penalize the player for making incorrect choices. While Nocturne is unique in that one has to constantly be on guard, even in the fight against Garbo enemies due to the nature of how the press-turn system works. Now, to oversimplify it majorly, the press turn system allows the player to increase their number of turns by attacking enemy weaknesses. Cool, right? Well, press turn makes it so that if you have the right demons in your party, you can fly through some encounters by attacking enemy weaknesses and never even giving them a chance to fight. Things make a turn, however, when you realize that these same exact rules apply to you as the player as well. Meaning if you have a random encounter where the enemy has the initiative and they just so happen to attack with an element that you or a party member is weak to, well, you see where I'm going, right? Once this rule has been acknowledged and ingrained in your skull, it makes you take every encounter seriously. Nocturne asks a great deal from the player in terms of awareness, and it's not a game where you can autopilot and expect to make it through. And then you add to this the fact that save rooms, and especially HP and MP replenishing save stations, are so damn few and far between, and the picture of desperation slowly begins to be painted. And I think that this is exactly how I would describe the player's experience in making it through the desolated Tokyo, a combination of awe and sheer desperation. Nocturne, through gameplay alone, is able to take the typical JRPG power fantasy trope and then flip it on its head. And while you may be the demi-fiend, a badass in jorts bestowed with great power given to you by the Prince of Darkness Lord Lucifer himself, you quickly come to realize that the world is full of badasses and that you are a simple cog in this well-oiled machine. Nocturne's ability to meld its gameplay with its environments, with the story's themes, layered on top of its haunting and satanic art style, accompanied by a soundtrack that screams distorted Bible verses at you, it's all too much, man. And this is where my confession happens, because I still have not completed Nocturne to this day. Now back then, the miasma of Nocturne was just too thick for me to handle. My last memories of it are being lost in an underground tunnel, and after running out of MP and healing items, I just got stuck. I remember quite literally being afraid to move my damn character because I knew in my heart that the next battle would be my last, and I had not gone back to a save in hours. Back then, I grew anxious, frustrated, and just quit. And now, this exact reaction has made me realize how special of an experience Nocturne is. The game's atmosphere was so intense and dense that I literally put it down and never returned. How many games, even in the horror genre, can say that they ever made the player do this, let alone a JRPG? So in conclusion, my friends, I intend to start another playthrough of Nocturne in the near future to give it a real shot. And if anything I spoke about in this video was appealing to you, I cannot recommend enough that you try the game out. While it's assuredly not for everyone, those whom this game does mesh well with will find themselves hooked and at the mercy of a gaming experience unlike any other. Games that are cohesive in every element in the way that Nocturne is rare, and rarer still are video games that can evoke the level of genuine anxiety and fear that Nocturne brought to me during my playthrough. If you have played the game or any of the other in the Shin Megami Tensei series, I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts and what impressions the game may have left on you as well. And if you enjoyed the video, please press my YouTube buttons, and those interested in donating directly in support of the channel can find my Patreon link in the description. Be well, my friends. Thank you for watching. Now go out there and get your ass kicked, because who knows, you may just enjoy it.